school official for Massachusetts campuses. My name is Vladislava. You can call me Vlada as well. Today, we will learn a little bit more about immigration compliance, and we will discuss the importance of your I-20 form, necessity for the information updates, travel restrictions under current circumstances, employment on F1 status, reasons for I-20 form extension, options to apply for leave of absence due to medical condition or academic reasons, and discuss 60-day grace period eligibility. Here you can see an example of I-20 form. As you know, I-20 is a legal document allowing you to remain in the United States as a full-time student. There is a unique CVIS ID number right here on the top left corner of your I-20 form. When you're traveling abroad, you need to obtain DSO travel signature on the second page of your I-20 in order to be able to re-enter the United States. Your I-20 is valid for the period of time indicated under a program of study. On the first page, you can see the program of study. You can always see the reflection of the program start and end dates, as well as the program name on your I-20. The second page of I-20 form always reflects leave of absence, employment authorization, travel authorization, if there are any. The second page of I-20 form should be signed by designated school official in case if you will decide to travel abroad. The third page of I-20 form has an important instruction for students and school. I highly recommend for everyone to read in order to understand how to maintain F1 status. To maintain your non-immigrant student status, you must remain a full-time student at your authorized school. That's what you're doing. You're full-time students, you enroll to a school, you met all school requirements for fall quarter. Second, engage only in authorized employment. We have options for OPT employment, CPT employment, on-campus employments, but all these employments must be authorized. Otherwise, you will have eventually issues with USCIS. Please do not engage in non-authorized employment. And third, keep your passport valid. Failure to comply with these regulations will result in the loss of your student status and subject you to deportation. We don't want this to happen, so let's please follow these 3 simple steps. There are questions from students. I have just changed programs. I was in business career program and I changed to a skill building program. Do I need to get a new I-20 form? The answer is yes. Every time when you change in a program, or if there are any changes applies to your status, you will be getting a new I-20 form reflecting such updates. Second question, I'm a transfer student who wants to renew my driver's license, but my I-20 is not issued for a complete calendar year. What do I do? In Massachusetts, there are very strict requirements to students. In order to renew driver's license, you must have I-20 valid for at least 1 academic year. Luckily, all programs at CSI are for 1 academic year. So you should be able to meet these requirements and you should be able to renew your driver's license if you're studying at CSI. If your driver's license has expired and you're looking to renew it, however, your I-20 is coming to an end, you can always apply for a new program, get a new I-20 form for a full academic year so you can proceed to RMV to renew your driver's license. What legal changes student must perform school, student services, DSO within 10 days? So you need to if you change your legal name, please be able to present a copy of the updated passport. It will allow DSO to issue an updated I-20 form with an updated name of it. We will also update your name in internal system, so all your transcript, your diploma certificates of graduation will reflect your correct legal name on it. Also, please let us know if you move to another address. So CSI could present the correct supportive documents for RMV, Social Security Administration, Embassy, and USCIS. Please let us know if you moved, there are any, for communication purposes, excuse me, please update CSI about any changes in phone number or email address. We always try to reach you out, warn you if you're missing any assignments, if you're missing attendance, if you're not compliant with your CPT or OPT regulations. School is a license between USAS and you as a student, so you want to always stay in touch with us. Also, please let Student Affairs know if you have been approved for change of status, so we can properly terminate your CVS record, and it will be absolutely helpful for your future relationship with USCIS. Why do I need to report any changes in address or contact information to CSI? Let me just bring a few examples so you truly understand the importance of it. You forgot to notify school about phone number or email change, so you're not any longer receiving any reminders, warnings from CSI. You missed tuition payment deadline and you will have to pay a late fee. Or you failed to apply for a program extension or missed too many classes, which caused a loss of F1 status termination. It could be all prevented by simply updating school about your changes. Let's say you applied for employment authorization and USAA sent you an important notice to your residential address mentioned in CVS. However, you moved to a new place and simply forgot to update school. In this case, USCIS never got a response from you and denied application for employment. We've had cases like this. It's very unfortunate. Please always stay in touch with school and update us. F1 students can be only legally employed in the following situations: on-campus employment, CPT employment, which means curricular practical training, OPT employment, which is optional practical training, and economic hardship. On-campus employment must take place on a school campus. This is a requirement. Unfortunately, for the fall quarter, as you know, CSI offices are closed due to COVID-19, so this option is not available. However, you should know that students may be employed up to 20 hours a week while in school and could also work full-time more than 20 hours a week while on a break if you under on-campus employment authorization. Student must obtain a permission from DSO for this type of employment, as well as you will need a supportive letter to obtain social security number. Economic hardship. What is economic hardship? If you suffer in severe economic hardship due to unforeseen changes in your financial circumstances, you may apply to USAS for AF campus employment. Let me bring some examples on unforeseen circumstances. It could be loss of financial support, severe changes in the currency exchange rate, an ordinary increase in tuition cost, or excessive medical bills. In order to be eligible to apply for economic hardship, you should be a student at CSI for at least one full academic year. Evidence of economic hardship along with $410 fee goes to USAS, and please be aware that approval is never guaranteed. It's always a subject to decide for USAS if you're eligible for economic hardship or your circumstances are not proving the fact that you could be approved for economic hardship. Let's speak a little bit about CPT, curriculum practical training. Curriculum practical training is a required part of your curriculum and type of employment which requires a DSO authorization. Please understand that CPT is not work. It's considered as externship, training, and must be directly related to a program of study. In order to be eligible for CPT, you need to be enrolled to non-ESL program in the US for at least one academic year. So if you transfer in right now from ESL schools, you would not be eligible for CPT right away. You need to gain 33 weeks of studies at CSI or at any other non-ESL program. CPT has to be authorized in CVS. You submit your CPT employment, potential CPT employment. CSI take multiple steps in order to review it and determine if it fits the academic requirements, that it's directly related to a program of study, and you're eligible for it. After that, we verify employer. Dean reviews CPT employment from academic perspective. DSO identifies your eligibility for CPT, and upon approval and authorization in CVS, you will receive an updated I-20 form. Only when you receive this I-20 form, that's the only green light for you to start employment. Without I-20 form on hand, you do not have any proof that you already have been authorized for CPT. So please be careful for it. Always wait for I-20. There are some cases when F1 student submits more than one CPT employment. That's totally normal, but you need to remember that CPT employment hours cannot exceed 40 hours a week. This requirement comes from USAS. So if you have a multiply employments, make sure that if you combine in working hours of these employments, it's not exceeding 40 hours a week. Let's see case A. If student has more than one CPT and the second one starts at the same time as the first one, in this case, your first CPT will be authorized, and then the second one you submitted, the second one has to be authorized as well. Case B. The student has second CPT, which starts later than the first CPT. Again, you have a one CPT already. You have been employed for 1-2 months, and you decided that you need another CPT, or you have an opportunity for another CPT employment. You will be able to submit new CPT, the second one, the additional one, only when the new quarter starts. We have deadlines to submit new CPTs. Only customer service students, customer service specialist students are able to submit new CPT employment at any time during the studies. There is a case C. The student stops CPT employment and has decided to find a new CPT employment instead. What you should do in this case? Students should notify CSI Student Affairs about the first CPT end date, submit new CPT employment, and wait for DSO CPT authorization in CVS. So it has to be step by step. We're working with your first CPT employment first. We ended CPT and CVS accordingly with your information. And only then we can add a new CPT employment and provide you with an updated I-20. Eligible for CPT students may submit CPT employment only from the second quarter of the program. This is our internal restrictions. You may not submit CPT employment even if you're eligible for it already from the first quarter. That's how our program builds. There are no exception to it. When students transfer out to another institution or change a program at CSI, their CPT employment will be automatically ended. So please pay attention to it. The student should provide the copy of the second page of I-20 form with CPT employment information to CPT employer, as it's considered as a proof of employment authorization in the US. So you see how your I-20 form is important. Even your employer will be paying attention to this form in order to let you start your employment. Let's speak about optional practical training. It's available for business career program students. It doesn't matter what track you're on. If you are eligible to apply for optional practical training, the earliest 90 days before the program end date. Optional practical training is different from CPT. Optional practical training is a temporary employment which is directly related to a program of study. And you are eligible to apply for OPT after the program completion. While CPT, you may have a training during the program. That's a whole difference. Also, CPT employment is being reviewed and approved by school internally. Even if we authorize it in CVS, there is no direct USAS involvement in this case. For OPT employment, USAS takes a decision if you're approved or denied for OPT. OPT adjudication process. Adjudication, it means that USAS is reviewing your application packet. OPT application takes in average 5 months. It's time-consuming process for sure. OPT eligibility. A student is eligible to apply for OPT if she or he has been a full-time student for 1 academic year. If student is in good academic standing as well. There is no need to submit employment along with OPT application. It's impossible to find an employer if you don't have authorization, right? So USAS gives you 90 days after approval date to find and submit OPT employer. So no worries if you don't have potential employer while you're applying for OPT. Here's another couple questions from students. When can I start OPT? You can start employment itself only after you receive employment authorization card from USCIS. Once you're approved, within 3-4 weeks, USCIS will mail you employment authorization card. And if you applied for if you're looking for social security number, your social security card will also arrive to your mailing address along with employment authorization card. Question 2, how can I start the OPT process? You may schedule appointment with DSO to discuss your eligibility first, and you will receive a list of documents required for OPT application. We have a standard OPT checklist. You may request it from me, or you may also request it from another DSO in Massachusetts. Her name is Kawina Rad. I will provide her contact information a little bit later. Here is OPT application process. You go to your student portal, find OPT folder, and you will be able to submit form I-765 there. Here's an example of our student portal. You will be entering your login, password, and we simplified form I-65 on you. Form I-765 contains around 8 pages of complicated questions. So we simplified it for students. You just go to student portal, enter a couple fields related to your passport number, your arrival date, your family information, and question if you want social security or not. It takes an average 5-7 minutes to fill it out. OPT application process, you can see after you logging in what's going to happen. You will see this page with a step-by-step instruction, and here's OPT form. That's what you will be clicking in order to fill it out. Regarding the travel, unfortunately, during the fall quarter, our students are not permitted to leave the United States. Why? Because there is a huge possibility that you won't be able to re-enter the country. I want to remind you that your students who are pursuing your studies fully online, and there are restrictions coming from USCIS on students who have classes delivered fully online. You would not be allowed to re-enter the country in fall quarter. So please, if you're looking to arrange any travels, if you're missing your family, or if your visa is expiring soon and you would like to take an opportunity to travel, please delay your travel until winter quarter. In winter quarter, hopefully our classes will be delivered hybrid. It means that you will be partially on campus, partially at home, pursuing online classes. In this case, under regulations and under SCVP guidance from August 7, you will be able to re-enter the country. I advise you to consult with dean, school dean, uh, before arranging any travels, because dean will be able to see your attendance records, percentage. They will be able to see what quizzes or exam are coming up you need to pay attention to. And after dean's approval for travel, you may reach out to DSO to obtain travel signature on the second page of your I-24. If you have arrived to the United States in any other statuses than F2, let's say you came as a tourist or you came as H-1B worker, and you change your status in the United States, in this case, you do not have valid F1 visa in your passport. It means you would not be able to re-enter the country in case of travel as F1 student. What you need to do in this case? You need to actually go to your home country, obtain F1 visa, and only then you would be able to come to United States, re-enter the custom and borders of the United States. What documents you need to re-enter the United States normally? Of course, you need a valid passport. It must be valid at least 6 months for 6 months when you enter in the United States. You need to have an expired F1 visa. As I mentioned, if your visa is expired, you need to apply for a new F1 visa in the home country in order to re-enter the United States. There are differences between student status and student visa. Visa is just a stamp on your passport. It allows you to travel and re-enter the country in F1 status. F1 status itself confirms that you are legally and lawfully present in the United States. You maintaining your status even if your visa is expired by attending classes, by meeting USCIS regulations. In order to travel, you might want to have valid I-20 with a DSO travel signature on it. This is very important. We had some cases when students were not aware of it. They left the country, went to home country for visits, for travels. However, they didn't obtain a signature on I-20. So when they arrived to United States, Custom and Border Protection officers simply cancel their visa and send them back home because they do not have the signature allowing them to re-enter the United States. Please pay attention to it. You might want to have a documentation of financial support. It could be your bank letter, bank statement. You probably provided during the CSI enrollment. This is how we determine if you are meeting financial requirements stated by USAS. You may, if you provide a bank statement from your sponsor, you want to provide this bank statement and your sponsor form as well. Please make sure that your bank statement covers 1 full academic year studies at CSI. You want to take proof of full-time enrollment with you. what it can be. It can be enrollment agreement. You can request it from your admission representatives. It could be a letter with enrollment verification. It could be requested at CSI front desk. You might want to take Form I-901. It's a receipt of paid CVS fee. You would like to take some information, contact information of your designated school official. If something happens, usually students not allowed to call anybody. However, what if you get the chance and you don't know your designated school official phone number, email address, you would not be able to address the issue. So please stay in touch with DSO, have our contact information close to you. If you have any questions during the travel, upon arrival to United States, please feel free to reach out to us. When entering the US from abroad, every student will be subject to questioning by US Customs and Border Protection officers. Please note that CBP officers have authority to decide whenever you are admissible to United States or not. This decision is based upon facts and circumstances presented at the time you apply to enter. CSI unfortunately cannot guarantee that you will be admitted or readmitted to the United States. This is why you need to close pay attention to SAS regulations. You cannot engage in any unauthorized employment. You cannot have invalid documents on you. You build in history in the United States as F1 students every day. If you make any mistakes, if you don't follow the regulations, Customs Border Protection Officer eventually will be able to go in the system and see all these activities, illegal activities, errors. That's how USAS make sure that students re-entering the United States following the regulations. This is the list of reasons, most common reasons why students get denied at the entry, port of entry. It's apologize for, let's say, maybe your visa has expired or you overstayed 60-day grace period. If you didn't pay CVS fee, or if your passport or visa are not valid. You might fail multiple courses and not meeting academic requirements, or you missed more than allowed attendance. Everything is visible in your CVS record, pretty much. If you have unauthorized employment, if you presented a fake document, bank statement, some enrollment documents which are not authorized. You want to make sure that you're aware what's your program name, how many hours a week you study. You need to be able to prove that you're a student, full-time student in the US and at CSI. So you're meeting 12 credit requirements. It means you are a full-time student in the US. You will be asked all these questions. So every time when you travel abroad, you want to prepare a full packet of documents to be able to answer all these questions of Customs and Border Protection officers. Make sure that your travel document is valid, that your I-20 is up to date. If Customs Border Protection officer is not able to verify your information, you will be sent to the second step, secondary inspection. Your CVS record will be checked, your phone, your email might be checked. So please pay attention to it. Be careful with what you email into your friends, what you're talking about on your phone. It could be all reviewed by Customs and Border Protection officers. There is a DHS trip. DHS trip is a contact for US and non-US citizens who who are looking for resolution regarding difficulties they experienced during their travel. If you wish to apply, you must complete a travel inquiry form and provide the required documents. Um, if for some reasons you were unreasonably denied in the entry to the United States, you may use this tool to ask to reconsider the Custom and Border Protection Officer's decision. Couple questions from students. Do I need visa to travel within the United States? The answer is no, guys. Visa is a stamp on your passport allowing you to re-enter the United States. If you're traveling to abroad, in order to re-enter, you need valid F1 student visa. If you're traveling between states, let's say you want to go to California, Florida for your vacation time, you don't need valid visa. You can travel with your I-20 just fine. Second question, I have a visa in my passport. Do I need I-20 to travel abroad? The answer is yes. Remember, besides valid visa and valid passport, you want to make sure that you have a valid I-20 with DSO signature on the second page of this form. Let's speak about program extension. You must pay attention to the program end date indicated on your I-20 form. Program end date mentioned on page 1 of your I-20 form. Your F1 status will end on the program completion date. If you're not able to meet the program completion date on form I-20, you may be granted extension. So let's say you you fail the class on your program and you're not able to complete the program you enrolled to within by the program end date mentioned in your I-20 form. What you need to do, you need to apply for a program extension because you need to do a class retake. While you're doing a class retake, you still want to be legally present in the United States. You legally present in the United States when your I-20 form indicates that during this period of time, you can still be in the United States. If you fail the class, you need a program extension. If you took leave of absence, let's say you're pregnant, you don't feel good, you need to take some time off from school. You've been authorized for LOA, it means you skipped a full quarter. You still need to retake all these classes you haven't get a chance to take. So again, in order to do class retakes, you need to apply for a program extension. What I want to mention about program extension as well. Program extension has to be made before the program end date indicated on your I-20 form. If you're not sure what is your deadline, please reach out to rather designated school official or student affairs. Your I-20 has to be valid at all the times. Leave of absence. If student has medical situation or illness, the student may be eligible to take leave of absence for a full quarter. Leave of absence being authorized on quarter-to-quarter basis. So let's say if you're sick, you may take a leave of absence based on medical note provided by a licensed medical doctor or MD. So we can authorize your leave of absence in CVS. You will have a legal reason why you're missing school for the full quarter. I'm reminding you that besides the fact that you're a student at CSI, you're also an international student. It means that besides following internal school regulations, which will help you to maintain and follow, you need to follow general USCIS regulations. In order to take leave of absence or just skip a school, you need to be legally authorized for that. So present a medical note indicating briefly what is your medical condition preventing you from attending the program of study. It should be indicating the dates of the quarter you're taking off of school and it should be signed by licensed medical doctor. Just 3 points to remember. If you have been approved for leave of absence, if something happened, you will be staying out of school during this period of time. If you're not studying, it means you cannot have curriculum practical training during LOA. Curriculum practical training, it's a training related to your program of study, directly related to your program of study. If you're not studying, there is nothing to be training for, right? So if you took LOA, you need to stop CPT employment. When you will come back to school from LOA, leave of absence, you might be able to request to authorize CPT employment for you again. But it's going to be, this application process will start all over again. Also, once your LOA, leave of absence, has ended, you will be expected to return to school. If you fail to return to school next quarter, you haven't paid tuition, you haven't post attendance, our registrar department will be considered you as a drop student. You failed to meet attendance requirements. So once your LOA ended, please report to school. Here's another question. If my 20 expires, when should I meet a school representative? If the student is eligible for extension, he has to apply to student affairs advisor 4 weeks before I-20 expiration date. I would highly recommend you to give yourself about a month to rather apply for a program extension or apply for change of program to start a new enrollment. Besides that, you're providing documents internally to CSI, we need to review them. Besides reviewing and approving internally documents, this information has to be reported to USAS through CVIS. It also takes time. If you don't want to be nervous, take care of it ahead of time. Give yourself 1 month to prepare documents, to discuss your matters with representative, designated school official, admission representative, or student advisor. And what is 60-day grace period? When you successfully complete your program at CSI, let's say, you will be granted 60-day grace period. It's automatically given by the government. It's a general rule. If you have completed the program successfully, it means if you haven't failed any classes, you will get 60-day grace period. As a returning student at CSI, you expected to return to enroll to a new program, to the next available program at CSI. So let's say you enroll to CSI in fall quarter 2020. Your program end date will be fall quarter 2021. If you will decide to transfer out to another institution upon program completion at CSI, you will be granted 60-day grace period. You can take all the 60 days to decide what you want to do next. You want to transfer out or you want to go to a home country. However, if you decide to stay with CSI and continue with CSI, you must enroll to a new program and you must enroll to the next available program. So if you completed your program in fall quarter at CSI, you need to enroll to a new program again in fall quarter. You don't have the 60-day grace period to use to have vacation. You're not allowed to do so because you're a returning student. If you're not taking any actions within 60-day grace period, you're not transferring out, you're not going home, you're not enrolling to another program at CSI, you will be out of status because after 60-day end, your CVS record will be automatically completed by the system. So you need to take the decision what you want to do next. Students who drop out of school or who are out of status are not given 60-day grace period. As I mentioned, you need to successfully complete the program. If you failed something, you're not granted 60-day grace period. My I-20 expires next year, but I finished this quarter and plan to transfer out. Do you have 60-day grace period? No, as I mentioned earlier, you will be granted 60-day grace period only if you have successfully completed the program. If you're transferring out somewhere in the middle of the program, it's your right. You can do it anytime during the studies, during breaks, between the quarters. However, you won't be granted 60-day grace period unless you have successfully completed the program and transferring out within 60-day grace period. Guys, do you have any questions? Any questions about your I-20? Everybody received your I-20 forms already?
How long should we wait for our I-20 if we apply in September?
If you applied for a program in full quarter, per regulations, DSO have 30 days to activate your record in CVS. It means that if you enroll to a full quarter, we want to make sure first that your payment is posted, that you fully process your tuition payment for the quarter. We want to make sure that you start actively attending classes, and that's when DSO takes actions and start registering the students in CVS. So by October 28th, everybody deserves to have their I-20 form. However, if you're looking for a 20 form, if you need to renew your driver's license, if you're looking to obtain health insurance, you may urgently request your I-20. Um, please reach out to your admission representative stating why do you need I-20 soon, and DSO will make sure that we will send you I-20 via email. Right now, you know that CSI offices are closed due to COVID-19, so you don't have to come on campus in order to pick up your I-20. We are sending digitally signed I-20 to your personal email address these days. Um, digitally signed I-20s are recognized in all government structures, so don't worry about not getting physically signed I-20. USAS accept digitally signed I-20s as well. Any other questions?
I have a question. When can we start applying for the CPT?
For the CPT employment. So first of all, I want to recall that all students at CSI eligible to apply for CPT employment start in second quarter. That's how our course syllabus are built, so you're able to apply for CPT starting in second quarter. The question is if you're eligible for CPT starting second quarter. What we want to make sure besides that you have you studied full academic year on non-ESL program. So if you've been with CSI previously for one academic year, most likely you're eligible for CPT from the second quarter. If you transfer out from a higher education, from master's, bachelor's degree in the US, again, you are eligible for CPT starting second quarter. However, if you transfer to CSI from Approach School, Boston International Academy, or any other ESL school recently, then it means that most likely you do not meet requirement for one academic year for a non-ESL program at CSI. It means that your CPT eligibility will be delayed. If you would like to individually discuss your case, you can always contact DSO We look up your case, we will look up your previous transcript, we will check your transfer history to determine what day exactly you can apply for CPT. If you know that you're eligible for CPT starting second quarter, please be aware that second quarter at CSI starts on January 11th, 2021. This is a winter quarter start date. So that's when you can plan to start looking for potential CPT employer and start submitting your CPT employment through student portal. Anybody else?
So we can start applying or we can start the job on the second quarter.
You can start employment from the second quarter. Applying, you can apply right now. You can apply right now. Already you can enter the potential employer information. However, start date, which you will be mentioning in your application for CPT, should be winter quarter start date.
Okay, so I can start submitting the application now.
Of course, yes.
Okay,
so we can verify your employer ahead of time, check your job duties, and by winter quarter you will be already all set. You will get I-20 and you will be able to report to employment then.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
So for apply, we already have to should have a potential employer, yeah?
Yes, for CPT employment, you actually need to have submit already employment. For CPT, you need to submit employment information about your potential employer. It means that you already found a person who is interested in hiring you. You already have position title. You already discussed approximately the working hours. And that's when you can go to student portal, enter this information about your potential employer. So we can see these facts and determine if you can be eligible, approved, or denied not eligible. Moreover, I wanted to mention that CSI doesn't really work with, collaborate with any employers. I know that many universities in Boston do this for externship. They collaborate with employers to give their students opportunity to have some sort of training in the real business environment in the US. CSI right now does not collaborate with any employers. So it's fully your responsibility to search for employers. You can go to Indeed.com, very common source of employment in Boston and in the US in general, and start searching for potential employer who would be interested in you. What you want to mention that you will be, once you will be approved for CPT by school, authorized in CVS, you will receive I-20 form. And your employer should know that this I-20 form is a proof that you're eligible to work in the United States. Some employers do not deal with CPT students, so we are providing assistance if your employer needs to communicate with us, if your employers have some questions, how to hire you, we can always work with them and help you out to be hired. Any questions about visas, about travel, consideration with consideration of COVID-19? Anybody looking to go home anytime soon? All right.
So I have a quick question. Do you think that on the winter session or even spring, it's going to be safer to travel and return to the United States?
Yes. Only fall quarter is very critical in this case because the government is still trying to adapt to COVID-19. Our school provides fully 100% online class delivery. And USCIS doesn't allow students who are pursuing their classes online to travel abroad. I mean, you can travel, you can leave the country, but you won't be able to re-enter if you're pursuing classes fully online. In winter quarter, we really planning to go hybrid. It means that you will be partially on campus as well. In this case, your I-20 form will get a new remark on the first page that your classes delivery is hybrid. In this case, you shouldn't be questioned at the port of entry, and you will not have any issues in re-entering the country. So if you want to travel, please delay it to winter quarter. Of course, we will be following USAS regulations. They constantly get an update due to COVID. Um, However, in winter quarter, you have more chances to leave the country and be able to re-enter.
All right, thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? Don't be shy. It's your opportunity to just ask anything without schedule appointment.
Can I have one question?
Sure, please.
Um, how can I be eligible for the job title or the job position? Is that depend on the programs that I'm studying, right?
Yes, this is correct. So there is no any specific job titles we are looking for under certain program of study. What's important for you to remember that CPT and OPT employments, they both have to be directly related to a program of study. This is USAS requirement. They want to make sure that you're not only employed in the US to receive some sort of income, which is not allowed for you under your current status, but you're actually going to experience business environment in the United States. It means that your CPT employment or PT employment have to be related to the program objectives. So it means whatever you're studying, whatever classes you're taking on the current program, it has to be related to your potential employment. Job title is not that important because in one place, customer service representative provides one list of duties. If you'll go to another employer with the same position, customer service representative, you might be doing completely different thing. That's why we ask employers to specify how your job duties will be related to program objectives. And based on that, school takes a decision if you're employed directly related to a program of study, or unfortunately, you need to continue looking for your potential CPT employer, which would fit your program more. Did I answer your questions, or you have any additional ones?
I'm just thinking like, so my current program is customer service, right? So the objective for the program is kind of like broadened. So,
Yes, so what's important to know for your customer service program? If you will decide, if you will be looking for CPT employer,
yes,
you need to be you need to perform some job duties directly relate to interaction with customers. It rather frontline, front desk. You want to be able to interact with customers, provide customer service. For example, if you're cashier in, let's say, some supermarket, there is minimum interaction with customers, and we're all aware of it. You will be scanning products. You won't be saying anything to customers, be saying, hi, here's your change. So in this case, it won't be related to your program of study. You actually need to be interacting with customers, talking to them, providing customer service, making sure they're comfortable. In this case, as I told you, just please make sure that there's direct coordination between you and a customer. It's a very wide range of job titles and positions. It's very easy for customer service specialist student to find CPT employment per my experience. You may also reach out to student affairs. We have a customer service specialist program flyer. We've already prepared suggested job titles, so it might be easier for you to look for employment having these potential job titles. For other programs, some business career programs with different tracks, we do not have the potential list of employments yet, so it's totally up to you. Just please review your enrollment agreement in order to see what classes are you taking and to determine what employment will suit you well. Any other questions, guys?
Hi. So I'm taking the finance major. So my question is, what kind of internship I can apply for? Like the job title.
Again, so you on business career track related to finance. We have different kind of positions coming for this program, but it should be related to finance. It could be accountant. If you, some management position involves some duties related to finance as well. So it's a wide range. It's hard to say this specific job titles. I cannot call them. That's why it's important for us to verify this information with employer himself. If you have somebody.
Yeah, because like the company is like kind of small, so like there's the job is like kind of a bit of everything. So I don't think like the job title is gonna reflect financial positions. So, but it's like it's also like a business development manager. It's also like doing a little bit of the HR job. It's also a bit of the financial things, and it's also front-facing customer. So it's like a whole range of like a consultant spectrum.
I see. So what you will be required to do, you will be required to reflect and show what percentage of duties do you perform related to finance. It has to be more than 75%. If you're able to describe it, if your employer is able somehow to relate some job duties to finance, your CPT will be approved.
Got it.
Thank you. Sure. Anybody else, guys? All right, let me provide some contact information of our other designated school official in Massachusetts. One moment.
And thank you so much, Vlada, for giving this presentation today. It sounds like everybody got some very, very good info. So it's been very, very helpful. I think everyone would agree to really have this information grounded for this quarter.
Thank you so much. I also would like to mention, it's not related to me as DSO, however, it's related to you as a student at CSI. Please, 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 always check your student email. I know that you all have your personal emails, however, you're a student, international student in the US. You want to make sure that you're maintaining your F1 status at all the times. It's crucial for your future if for your future plans, for your current plans as F1 student, or if you'll decide to change the status eventually in the US, you need to make sure that you're maintaining your current F1 status, that you meet in USCIS regulations. And we as school always send you reminders, warnings to your student email. Please check it all the times. There are so many situations when we try to reach you out for the phone number, for email address, but students do not reply. In this case, they miss deadlines, miss payments, which affects their status in the United States. So it's very important. Pay attention to your student email.
Yes, and we at Student Affairs also repeat that message. It's very, very important for everyone to check and make sure that nothing in their classes is changed, nothing in their status has changed, and that everything, well, that'll be our first point of contact to reach out to you.
Thank you. Also, I just want to mention that we have different departments at CSI, and the studies provided right now remotely, so you cannot really reach out to somebody in person. You cannot knock somebody's door and ask a question or ask an advice. So what you can do, if you need something, you can always contact CSI front desk. Front desk will always support you, will direct you to the right person, so your needs will be met at all the times. So we're here for you. We're trying to work with you closely, even during these hard times. So never hesitate. Rather double check your question multiple times from different departments. Reach out to us DSOs. We're always here for you. If you need your I-20, if you need your I-20 urgently, or if you're planning pregnancy, or if you're planning to visit your families at home, we can always work it out with consideration of internal requirements and USCIS requirements. That's why you need to stay in touch with DSOs all the time. All right. And also, guys, sorry, I haven't mentioned yet your attendance requirements. For customer service specialist students, you cannot miss more than 21 days of classes in a row. It means if you attended class, let's say today, you cannot skip more than 21 days in a row until you attend the next class. That's how we start counting your missed attendance. Missed attendance affects F1 status. For business career students, business career program students, you cannot miss more than 14 days. So you miss classes for 2 weeks, you're out of status. Please pay attention to it. Your international students here, it's not gonna work like in your home country. You cannot come up to somebody and say, I was sick, I have a medical note, I had a cold for 3 weeks, can I go back to school? No, because we have USCIS requirements, which we have to follow as well. As much as we feel for you, as much as we all want to save you, we have to follow USCIS requirements too. So 14 days of missed attendance is maximum for business career program students, and 21 days in a row you can miss on customer service specialist program. Okay. Thank you for your attention today. We will leave all the contact information for you in the chat room. There is also very important and useful information on your student portal about CPT, about OPT employments. We have presentations. We have step-by-step instructions there. We have instruction how to get your diploma, transcript, all information is there for you. Thank you all, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Vlada.
Thank you.
Before everybody signs off, I'm going to take screen from you. I would just like to share, my name is Alicia Mayer. I am a student affairs advisor here at CSI. Some of you may have seen my face during our new student orientation meetings. Maybe some of you have reached out and emailed me. But I'd like to take a moment to talk about some of the events that we have coming up this week. So Today you have attended our DSO presentation, but later on this afternoon at about 6 o'clock, we will also be doing a high intensity interval training, which is a workout session that's actually being put on by the Student Affairs Department supervisor. And we're very excited about it. So please stop by, kind of work some of your muscles out. And, again, it's totally Zoom related. So there's no place you have to go. Just find a good spot in your house where you can see your screen, have some space around you, and we'd love to see you for that fitness training. We also have coming up, whoops, sorry about that. Tomorrow we have a career planning workshop that's at 12:30 to 1:30. And that's going to help you better understand the workforce. Many of you had questions about CPT and OPT. So if your application goes through and you end up working at a site, this is a great webinar to kind of help you learn the ins and outs of some of the smaller details of working in America. So we very much recommend that you stop by for that as well. On Friday, we have one of our more popular webinar series that we've started since going into the COVID lockdown, and it's a legal services workshop. It'll give you a better understanding of your F1 status. It'll give you an opportunity to learn more about legal services in the United States, and just kind of, making sure that you're doing the right things in order to keep your status and stay here in the United States. So we highly recommend this one. It's been a super popular event. Please stop by. That's going to be 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock on Friday. And all of these events, by the way, are located in our student portal. If you go to the New Student Orientation on the right-hand side, there's a link to Massachusetts, and it gives you a new web page that's filled with all the new things and the new events that we're doing here in Massachusetts. And on Saturday, we have a pre-recorded Zumba fitness class. So if you really liked the HIIT intensity class from today, we recommend you come stop by and watch our video on the Zumba fitness class. Next week, we've got some more stuff coming through. So we have another Navigating the American Workplace seminar. That's Tuesday, October 13th. And that will be, that's actually for the other campus. All right, thank you so much for your time. If anybody has any more questions, you may place them in the chat box. And you are more than welcome to go. You are all set.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.